That appears to be unanimous.
This is the Conservative News Review, bringing you news and views. At the start of his round-the-world Commonwealth tour, Mr. Eden says a few words of farewell.
If I can contribute, to however small an extent, to promote friendship and understanding within the family of the British Commonwealth and Empire, I shall be proud indeed. I'm sure that you will all envy me and wish me Godspeed.
After shaking hands with his son, Nicholas, he climbs the steps for the first leg of his flight to Canada. With him goes Commander Noble, MP for Chelsea. A jump literally across the globe to the Antipodes, Mr. Eden in Leamington, New Zealand. An on-the-spot commentator takes up the tale.
Mr. Eden brings the inhabitants a message from Leamington in England, which is part of his electorate. At the Rorakora Animal Research Station, Mr. Eden sees some of the scientific experimentation which has boosted the Dominion's exports of dairy produce. And
the fondness of Britons overseas for reproducing the place names of the old country is just one sign of the attachment of members of the Commonwealth to Britain. Mr. Eden visited several Leamingtons and Warwicks in the course of his tour. He goes on to Australia.
It's grand to be in Sydney again. And here you are, you've laid on the weather for me. Of course, we've got some problems at home. And I've no doubt you've got one or two problems, even in Australia. But we managed, in the darkest days of the war, to work through together with the sister nations of the British Commonwealth to victory. And I've no doubt that in peace, if we show the same spirit of united endeavor, we shall win through to the same result.
On again to India and a visit to the Governor-General in New Delhi. Pandit Nehru was there. And Mr. Eden walked out in the courtyard with Mr. Rajagopalachari to pose for a group portrait with the new rulers of the Indian Union. In the Muslim state of Pakistan, he was entertained by the Governor-General Al-Hajj Khwaja Nazimuddin, successor to Mr. Jinnah. There he witnessed street scenes like this in Karachi. Camel-drawn transport in spacious thoroughfares lined by modern buildings. Then up to the northwest frontier, the famous Khyber Pass, inspecting the last depot of troops on the way. Exploring an old fort, relic of former martial days. On by car along the motor road to the pass, traversing wild and attractive scenery. Camels and horses keep left, cars go right. Finally, the climax of the pass at the frontier of Afghanistan, where an Afghan sentry stands guard. Here, a group of tribesmen meet the distinguished stranger and shake him warmly by the hand. He climbs the adjacent rise to take a look at the historic road of invasion from Asia into India. The Commonwealth had not lost interest in this road, even though British troops no longer guard the frontier. And so, back to London after 6 weeks touring Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Malaya, India, Pakistan. His impressions?
The outstanding impression, which I think we both carried away, is that of the underlying unity of the British family of nations and of the goodwill on every side felt towards this country, which so many of them still call a home.
Tory success in the London County Council campaign has been perhaps the most heartening of all the signs of the times. In other years, county council elections have been notorious for apathetic voting, but not so in April 1949. London's swing back to conservatism was accompanied by big polls, the best evidence that the capital wanted Mr Henry Brook and his team. Nearly 118,000 more Londoners voted Conservative than Socialist. But Mr Hayward, the Socialist leader, manoeuvred the majority out of their victory at the County Hall. Mr Brook sums up the lessons of the campaign.
The secret of our success in London was teamwork, happy and thorough teamwork. We thought out our plans far ahead. In the constituencies, everybody worked like tigers, the candidates hardest of all. And we had grand help from the young Conservatives. We gained 34 seats, and it was a dead heat. Then the Labour Party seized power by what most people think was a shady trick. But we are planning ahead again already, because we must have better government. We can win in London, we can win everywhere, if every single Conservative will do a bit extra work for the party.
Food is a subject which interests most people, particularly housewives. At the 1945 election, a prominent socialist made the point that empty larders were a mockery. Then the socialists got into office and the mockeries started in earnest. Memories are short, and perhaps today you don't realize just what you did have in the way of rations in 1945. True, it was little enough, but then the war with its submarine blockade was only just finished. You might have been excused for thinking that rations could hardly be less in peacetime than in war, but in 1947, after 2 years of socialist rule, the picture showed a reduction in nearly every staple article of food. Since 1947, there has been some improvement, but how much? What an exposure of the worth of socialist boasts and promises. Bacon below what it was in 1945. Tea also below what it was. Cheese at 1.5 ounces until well into the year, even then hesitated below 1945 level. Fats back where they were. In 1945, the people thought they had something to look forward to. Little did they foresee the results of socialist planning.